In this second question, so we have some group 2 chemistry. So started out by talking about magnesium, calcium, and barium. By the way, the new syllabus will have replaced this Roman numeral by this numeral type rather than this Roman numeral in the new syllabus. So describe and explain the trend in reactivity of these three elements with cold water. So you got to describe and explain. Well, first of all, we're going to describe the trend. So the group 2 metals become more reactive with water. So they become more reactive with water, with cold water down the group. In fact, so what we know is magnesium has no reaction with cold water. In fact, magnesium does not react with cold water. Magnesium needs to react only with steam and it will form magnesium oxide. Okay, so does not react with cold water. So what happened there is we need to talk about down the group, down group 2. So the valence electrons are further away from the nucleus because we involve losing the electrons in a redox reaction. So the valence electrons being further away from the nucleus because they are more filled electronic shell. Since they are more filled electron shells, they are also more shielded. So we can talk about shielding also increases. So overall, we can talk about it's much easier to lose them. Overall, weaker net electrostatic attraction of the valence electrons to the nucleus. And if they are less attracted to the nucleus, easier to be lost. And that is how group 2 metal will react. They lose the outer shell electrons. If easier to be lost, they become more reactive going down the group 2. Okay. Anyway, it is saying that magnesium does react with cold water in this case, even though we know that it will react extremely slowly, and you need really like steam in order for magnesium to react at a considerable rate. Magnesium can react with cold water, but extremely slowly, but they do want an equation. So we're going to write this formation of magnesium hydroxide, and that equation is not balanced actually. Because it will release hydrogen gas as well, because metal plus water, metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. This is with water and not with steam, so that's why it's hydrogen gas. Although this is a very slow reaction, you probably don't see any effervescence or whatnot. We need to balance our equation no matter what. We have to balance this with 2H2O, that is 4 hydrogen. 2 hydrogen plus 2 hydrogen is 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen there. So this equation is nice and balanced now. Suggests why the water eventually turns cloudy during these reactions, because magnesium hydroxide is not very soluble in water. So it's not very soluble in water because your group 2 hydroxide only increase in solubility going down group 2. So this is not very soluble in water. Therefore, it will precipitate out in a large amount. As you continuously produce it, it will precipitate out. Now suggest the equation for the reaction of hot magnesium with steam. This one has got a high activation, not high activation energy. It's got a fast rate of reaction. That means the activation energy is much lower compared to with the cold water. Magnesium plus steam, they are not asking for stat symbols, but they already specify that it's with steam. You do not get magnesium hydroxide, because even though magnesium hydroxide is not very soluble in water, you do not have water, you have steam here. So it's not water, so they don't dissolve in it. And if you think about it, the other product will be just the hydrogen, just to balance the equation there. The next bit, the oxides of magnesium, calcium, and barium all can react with dilute nitric acid, and that is because the oxides of group 2, so group 2 oxides, they are all basic oxide. So we know from our 14 to 16 years old O-level, GCSE as well as IGCSE level chemistry, basic oxides can react with acidic oxide, or they can also react with acid. In this case, you have magnesium oxide, Mg2 plus or 2 minus, So in a 1-to-1 ratio, you have H plus NO3 minus nitric acid. Your salt is going to be magnesium nitrate. So Mg2 plus NO3 minus. The 2 and the 1, they are the valency based on the charges of the ion. When you do the LCM, lowest common multiple, that is called how many of the ions do you need? Well, you need 1 Mg2 plus, you need 2 of the NO3 minus based on the exchange of this valency, which is based on the principle of lowest common multiple primary school mathematics. The formula of magnesium nitrate, there is 1 Mg2 plus, there are 2 NO3 there, and I will produce water, neutralization reaction between a basic oxide and an acid. I have 2 of that nitrate, which can only come from 2 of that nitric acid unit. So 2 NO3 minus give me the 2 NO3 minus, the 2 hydrogen there combined with 1 oxygen to give me 1 water there. Every equation written in this Cambridge exam has to be balanced. The next one, just state the trend in the thermal stability, how stable it is to heat. So down group 2, in fact this is no longer the Roman numeral, so down group 2, the nitrates become more stable to heat, and therefore they want thermal stability, so I have to specify the thermal stability of the nitrates would increase. They become more stable to heat, so it increase in stability. How about when you do decompose one of it? Magnesium nitrate further up in the group 2 nitrate, so it does decompose fairly easily compared to the bottom of the group 2 nitrate. That will give you the group 2 oxide, Mg2 plus O2 minus 1-to-1 ratio. You get this brown gas, NO2 gas, you get O2 gas produced as well, and you will get 2 NO2 because you got 2 NO3 minus there, so 2 NO2. Now balancing the equation, 2 times 3 is 6 oxygen atom, so 6 oxygen atoms. What you get there is 1 oxygen, and what you get there is 2 NO2 molecule, so there is 4 oxygen atoms. That means if you want to balance the equation, we just need 1 oxygen atom there, and it's always been my favorite to use fraction, so 1 over 2 times 2, which we can't change the identity of the molecule. Half times 2 is 1 oxygen atom, 1 plus 4 plus 1, 6 oxygen atom. Some people really don't like the half. I don't know how or why. In AS level standard, if you still don't like the half, you're not going to do well for the enthalpy topic when there's a lot of fraction involved. But if you really don't like the half, you can multiply the whole thing by 2. You get 2, 2, 4, and 1 there, and you'll still get the exact same answer, which will be correct, which will be 1 mark. The next bit of the question, apart from lithium nitrate, the nitrates of group 1 elements decompose in a different way. So the lithium nitrate behave similarly to the nitrates of group 2 elements. So this is potassium nitrate, so it behaves differently from the group 2 nitrates. By identifying any changes in oxidation number, explain which element is reduced and which element is oxidized. Well, if we look at KNO3, when we look at oxidation number, we just look at one particular unit. So the potassium there is K plus 1 because this is potassium nitrate. Potassium in a compound is going to be K plus. So therefore, we are looking at NO3 minus. So we're looking at nitrogen plus 3 times minus 2 equal to minus 1. Oxidation number of the ions is going to be the charge of the ions. Nitrogen is what you have to find. Oxygen in these compounds is going to be oxygen minus 2. So there are 3 of them, 3 times minus 2 there. Nitrogen is minus 1 plus 6, which is plus 5 there. So nitrate is going to be nitrogen plus 5. Very, very straightforward there. And the next bit is on KNO2. So KNO2, again, K plus 1 in K plus. So what we have is NO2 minus. In NO2 minus, what do we have? We have N and then 2 oxygen. 2 times minus 2 is minus 1. Nitrogen is minus 1 plus 4. Nitrogen is plus 3 there. And last but not least, we have oxygen O2. We have O2. This is just oxygen 0 in O2. So altogether, what we can see here really is, I'm just going to remove those things there, and then I'm just going to move some of these around. Let me see. That thing there is the nitrate. So the nitrate is going to the nitrite. The NO3 minus is going to the NO2 minus. Let me just create some space there. And then you're also forming the oxygen like that. So what we can see is we have oxygen minus 2 in KNO3. We have nitrogen plus 5 in KNO3. So this one, the oxygen minus 2 is going to oxygen 0 in O2. And this nitrogen plus 5 is going to nitrogen plus 3 in KNO2. This is an increase from minus 2 to 0. That is something you would call oxidation, increase in oxidation number. And the next one, plus 5 going to plus 3. This is a decrease in oxidation number. This is called reduction there. Okay. This next question is basically asking us, in terms of structure and bonding, why does it have very high melting point? For that 2 marks, we need to mention that MgO, Mg2 plus or 2 minus, has a giant ionic lattice structure. So giant ionic lattice structure or giant ionic structure. And what do we need to break when we melt MgO? Because of the giant ionic structure, we need to break the strong ionic bond. And this strong ionic bond is between oppositely charged ions, which in this case is between the Mg2 plus and the O2 minus ions, being very specific to the question that they are asking there. The next one, we're going to write equations. This is plural. And we're going to show how calcium carbonate can be converted into calcium hydroxide by a 2-step process. What you know about group 2 carbonate is that it can thermally decompose under heat to give you calcium oxide, Ca2 plus or 2 minus. You will get CO2. And what happened with this calcium oxide is you can dissolve calcium oxide in water, and then you will get calcium hydroxide, as that's what they're required there. They want equations. You need to give balance equations. These are the 2 balance equations there. Now this last bit is asking you to write an ionic equation. So in an ionic equation, you must have stat symbols. This is between hydrogen ion and carbonate ion. The H plus ion is present in acid. The carbonate ion is present in metal carbonate. So you're talking about any carbonate will react with acid. That is the test for carbonate, as you will know it from paper 3 practical studies, and also from your previous practical or alternative to practical back then in qualitative analysis topic. You will get carbon dioxide produced as an effervescence. You will also get water molecule. If you think about balancing the equation, there are 2 hydrogen there, so we need 2 H plus, and the plus 1 times 2 cancel out the minus 2 times 1. Plus 2 minus 2, no charge overall on the left, no charge in molecules overall on the right. They haven't asked for stat symbols. It's always been my standard usually to write in a stat symbol for ionic equations. So we're talking about aqueous acid, because acid is dissolved in water to give you H plus ion. And then we have carbonate, which we are assuming is aqueous in this case, but we are not told whether it's aqueous or solid. And here we definitely have liquid water and gaseous carbon dioxide there. I'm sure you won't get penalized if you don't have the units. It's only 1 mark anyway. But you must have a balanced equation. Now the very last bit of this question, use your equation to calculate the mass of powdered calcium carbonate to be added to neutralize the acidity. You will see that the H plus acidity, the concentration is 1 times 10 to the minus 4. You have this much total volume. So the first thing you can do is you can find the mole of the acid, which we know N equal to CV, where C is mole per dm cube, and then V is volume of solution, and this is volume of solution in dm cube, because mole per dm cube must be multiplied by dm cube for the unit to cancel out. So what I normally do is to compare the mole ratio directly. So we want mole of calcium carbonate. 1 calcium carbonate will give you 1 CO3 2 minus, and this is relative to the H plus. So 1 of the calcium carbonate reacts with 2 of the H plus. On the right hand side, we want the mass of the calcium carbonate. If we want the mass of the calcium carbonate, it's important that we have the MR of the calcium carbonate. So going to your periodic table, you will have calcium, which is 40.1 plus 1 carbon, 12.0 plus 16.0 times 3. I get, hang on, 40.0 plus 12.0 plus 16.0 times 3. I get 100.1. So that is mass of the calcium carbonate divided by the MR, which is 100.1. This thing on the right hand side is the mole of the calcium carbonate. The one at the bottom has to be the mole of the H+. This is the concentration in mole per dm cube. This is the volume already in dm cube. So I don't need to convert anything into dm cube again, because that was conveniently already mole per dm cube times the volume already in dm cube there. So I just need to move this up there. When I move the bottom to the left hand side, I do not change anything on the half. So it's just bring up the denominator. And this is equal to mass of calcium carbonate divided by 100.1. I'm going to do this in one go. I will move up the 100.1 to the other side, and the whole thing will be multiplied by 100.1. So if I move this up there, this is multiplied by that. And I can just now press my calculator. 100.1 times 0.5, which is 1 over 2, times 1 times 10 to the power minus 4 times 8,000. I would get the mass of the calcium carbonate to be 40.04. This is going to be in gram, as this is gram over gram per mole. But then looking at the data, this was given to, like, you can think of this as 4 or 1 significant figure. This is also 1 significant figure. I don't think I should give to too many significant figure. Maybe 1 or 2 should be all right. If I give it to 40 gram, you can interpret this as 2 significant figure or 1 significant figure, which is all right given the value, the data that we have been given in this question here. And that's the end of that 19 marks. Pretty long question there.